I'm going to stand back. Oh, there we go. Hey presto, pop-up green screen. A very reasonably priced JVC Averio. It's actually a stereo Lavalier microphone, a cheap extension lead for, again, a couple of quid. Okay, so we're almost ready to go. What we need next then, or rather what I want next, because I've got this zany idea in my head for how I want it to be and nothing else will do, is lighting. And this is the point at which you start wondering if things are getting a little bit silly, because I went mad on these lights. Still reasonably priced, but over twice as much as the camcorder was, really. So yeah, kind of a nice carry bag. So these travel, I think that's how you say it, lights, and there are 4 of them. I thought, well, this is great, because there were different varieties. You could buy one on their own, you could get 2, or you could get a pack of 4 of them. And I thought, well, you know, I tend to like deals. Ask me if I'm going to the supermarket, if it's 3 for 2, I'll always get 3. I'll always grumble, even if I'm told, no, there's not enough room in the freezer, or it'll go off before you use them. No, but I can't. It's costing me more to have 2 of them than 3 of them, which makes no sense at all, but that's just my brain. So 4 of them, I thought, well, I've got 2 for the front, because I've been filling my head with YouTube videos about fill lights and key lights. And so fill light, 1, key light, that's the second one, and I'll have 2 for the backdrop, because I've been reading all about and watching all about how it's important to have even backlighting, and that's something I'm going to come on to a bit more as well. But first, yeah, they come in really well packed. They come with, what we got? We got like a battery like you'd have in your camcorder, or your camera maybe. Comes with a yellow filter. I haven't used those yet. You can get different colour tones and stuff. Comes with a diffuser on the front, screw to tripod, so just a couple of buttons on the back. One of them's to turn it on, one of them's to dim it, one of them's to brighten it. So they are dimmable. You can't change the colours on them, they're just white, with the exception of putting the yellow filter on, I suppose, to make it a bit of a warmer tone if you want to. So you just put the camera on, just put the battery on, hold down this button, and then that gauge comes up, telling you how much battery you've got left, I think, is it? Or is it dim? No, it's okay, so it shows you how bright or dim it is. I think that's a bit redundant. I can see how bright or dim it is. It's in my face. I'll point it that way. So yeah, that's going to white out, even on the dimmest. So these are pretty bright. They're decent light. And they come with tripods, and I thought, right, okay, so great, so you got 1 light off the camera there, 1 light over there somewhere, and 2 on the backdrop, but I don't know if I can demonstrate this. Problem with them on the backdrop, I found, is that it's not very even light. You've got 2 options. You can have them really far away, but the further away you have them, the more chance you've got. I mean, given that I've already said I've got limited space here, the more chance there is of me being between the light and the background. And seeing as the lights are only meant to be on the background, that's a bit silly. So I was sort of stuck having them a bit like that, and well, you can probably see, I mean, it's only projecting out light like that. So if you have it close, you've got a really bright spot, and it spreads out, so falls off really quickly in intensity. If you have it further away, there could be shadows from me, and it just wasn't very even. I couldn't get it to work properly. So okay, back on eBay, more research, and then I ended up coming up with a better solution. But it involved spending more again. Yeah, I know. I pretended it was like Christmas and birthday rolled into one. So I got these. Actually, I got 2 of these. I'm only going to show you one. They're both identical. And a nice bag again. And they come with a tripod. I forgot to say the other ones, by the way. Each light comes with its own tripod. So that was another reason for getting the 4 of those little rectangular ones. These ones are mains powered, whereas those are only battery powered. I'll stop rustling before I do that. So these are mains powered, those are only battery powered, but they come with chargers as well. These ones though, I'll put them with the charger a second, it's more important to show the light. These are different because well, they were sold specifically as fill lights, and as you can hopefully see, they're quite a lot longer than the other lights. So the idea of these is, I thought, well, I'll put one on each side, and give me a second, I'll show you them working now. I'll show you one working. I don't know how the full scale of this will show up, but I mean, hopefully it'll be immediately obvious how different it is compared to the smaller rectangles, because obviously the smaller rectangles I had this much, let's say, so it had to reach all the way to at least the middle of the frame on the backdrop, but also it was having to sort of try and spread out this way as well, so it was like a two-dimensional problem. Whereas having this long light, firstly it's narrow, so you know it's not too far away from the background. You can put it up quite close, and secondly it's long, so you're reducing the problem down to one dimension. And the third advantage actually is that there's a lot more fine control on this switch. It's like a dimmer switch, so I've actually found that, yeah, can you see the difference there? So the evenness immediately, if I go all the way back here to where I was before, maybe I should go front a bit, do that. So yeah, the evenness was a lot easier to control, and what I found with the two of them together, as I'm sure you'll see when I finally get around to making videos, is that with this fine control I could almost make all the creases that were there disappear, actually, or bring them back, or they can disappear or bring them back, and so one of these either side, perfect, works perfectly. And I've got 2 lights for filling key and 2 spares, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, there's that. The only problem with the small lights was that when I got around finally to making a video with everything set up as I wanted it, they gave me a bit of a migraine. And even though there was a diffuser on the front, it just was terrible. So, and partly because they have to be so close to me, because if I have them far away, well, I just didn't have the room to put them far away. So I either had to have them close and migrainey, or far away and bright, and them being brighter because they were further away was migrainey. So I couldn't really win. And talking to a friend, the reality is I should have been talking to them first, maybe, because they actually knew what they were talking about, and they've done photography for the past few years and actually studied it in university, and they were arguing physics with me, a physicist. The point is, like, well, I couldn't really argue with them because what they were saying was perfectly sensible. They said you need softboxes. I said, yeah, but I tried to avoid getting softboxes because the whole point of these lights is they're slimline and I haven't got much room. But yeah, you still need a softbox because it spreads out the light. So there was one more excuse between me and making vlogs, and those were some softboxes, which I haven't actually tried. So this is the first time I'm going to get to try them. So this was another random YouTube video I happened across where they were talking about cheap softboxes. They arrived like this from Newer, and they arrive flat. They come with a carry case, and the YouTube video I found was basically saying you get what you pay for, but what you pay for is actually pretty decent. Well, I got them. So the video was talking about $11. I got them for about £7 here in the UK. And yeah, the idea is to avoid the migraines that the lights were giving me without them, because I mean, I suppose, yeah, it is just physics. If you look at that, I can't really show you with it turned on because it'll white out my phone camera, but you can see this LED array with the diffuser off. It looks like that, and with the diffuser on, it's not that hard to get on, I'm just clumsy. If you can see the LEDs, it stands to reason that it can't be diffusing them that much. And so that's where really the photography friend I was talking about, they were arguing physics with me, and I was just kind of, yeah, actually, now you said it, that makes perfect sense. So these softboxes are not comedically big like some of the ones I was finding. There was one that was like a 40cm by 40cm softbox, and again I thought that the whole point of these is that they're small and they fit in the space I've got. If I'm going to have like a comedically big softbox, it'd be nice if it came with a comedically big studio. I don't have a studio, I'm just using like the side of a room. None of the rooms in in my house are very big to start with, but there's just not enough depth anywhere to have like all these big umbrella lights and things like that. So here's the theory. It's a softbox, and it's a pop-up softbox. You sort of just do that. I don't think there's anything really holding it open other than the seams, really. It's got some reflective bits so that none of the light that's bouncing out the sides gets lost. So that's quite neat. Compared to the ones I saw reviewed online, they've actually changed this strap, it looks like. So rather than having, like, you know, the clip that you get in a rucksack that clips together, they had one of those and you have to sort of stretch it around, and people were finding at best mixed results with those. They seem to have changed it. It's just got this cord now, this strap, and it just velcros straight on to the body of the softbox, and I think that's a lot better actually, rather than trying to wrestle with a clip and try and sort of hold it on, and you know, because the other problem is, of course, these are travel lights. These are Neewer softbox things, and they're not the same make. So the same as one of the other YouTube videos I saw, I'm going to issue a disclaimer that this make doesn't match this make. So if it doesn't quite fit, that's not really Neewer's fault. But I do think that this new design maybe will help a lot, so I don't know, I'm going to try it. Obviously I'm conscious that the tripod mount needs to fit on here as well, so okay, let's do this on, try and do it on camera. I mean, it fits no problem. The other thing as well is that the measurement of my light was, it was like a couple of millimetres wider than the softbox, and I thought, oh, I don't know, is that going to be a problem? But not really, seems to be fitting. I'm not having to stretch anything really to get it to fit. And this strap, the strap doesn't have to go all the way around, it only has to make it to the top. And I think that will help as well. I'm probably doing that upside down. If I do it that way around, it's not very exciting for you watching now, is it? Me just fumbling with this off camera. But so there's going to be another jump cut. Getting too panicky, but there you go. Only 1 hour and 57 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Like I say, to be fair, the make of the softbox doesn't match the make of the light. So these are Travel TL160s, TL160S actually, and these newer softboxes are meant to be for whatever 176s, but you know, it's 160 LED light versus 176 LED light. Not much difference. They're actually very similar dimensions, but yeah, they're not exact. But I mean, I'm also sort of squishing this to fit around the tripod, which they're not designed to do. But I actually think that this improved strap design, from what I've seen on YouTube videos, makes it easier to do that. Let's try not to pop it off. I mean, now that it's on, famous last words, now that it's on, it does seem to be staying. And it's not too precarious. I think the secret is, as you can see on the back, this is also for future reference for later. I think, yeah, the trick is it's slightly overlapped on these three sides, which, you know, it's, I don't know, it's helping it somehow. And the Velcro strap's attaching on that corner there, so it's only three sides. I think the other one you have to sort of pull all the way around all four sides, whereas this strap only has to make it around three sides. So it's sewn in. Let's try and make this clear. It's sewn in there. It's going around there. It's going around the top. Skewed with the tripod. It's going around there, and then it only has to get to that Velcro there. So you can sort of persevere, undo the strap, pull the strap around the top of the light, Because, yeah, the problem people were having was they were saying, well, what do I do when I get down the bottom? I've now got the actual material of the light to potentially punch a hole through to get the tripod in, and I've got to get through this strap. Whereas, well, I'm not punching a hole through it for a start. I only just bought them. I don't want to destroy them straight away. But I'm not having to do that. I'm not having to fight against the strap here because there isn't one. It's only going around the top 3 sides, and then the bottom's sort of holding up. I mean, it hasn't sprung off in the last few minutes. It probably will as I try and pop it out a bit more. You watch now. Famous last words. That seems to be alright. Doesn't seem to be making a bid for freedom. Okay, right, well, the test will be, is it as migraine inducing? This is on the same brightness as it was before, minimum brightness. Well, it's still whitening out the camera, of course, but that's to be expected. Let's, I can actually do side-by-side comparison. I could just pull the softbox off. Do you know what's weird, right? The softbox is staying put now, even though the straps come loose. Maybe I'll just forget the strap altogether and just put it on there. Right, okay, that makes it easy. Side-by-side comparison with everything else the same. I'm literally going to pull the softbox off and we'll see what the difference is. Softbox on. Not too migrainey. Okay, it's not exactly the same. But yeah, I mean, obviously a lot brighter, but this is on its minimum brightness setting. And, oh, that's just like, it's like staring at the sun. And this is on 10% brightness. This has got another 9 levels above this. So, yeah, I think that makes a huge difference.